You think love is supposed to hurt a little. You call it passion, chemistry, that spark you can't explain. But deep down, you know it's not love, it's hunger, a kind of madness wrapped in the illusion of connection. And it's the same every time. The beginning feels like fire, the ending feels like a funeral. And somewhere between those 2 points, your mind starts to lose itself. The story you keep telling yourself is that you just fall for the wrong people. But that's not the real reason. The real reason is simpler and darker. Your brain is addicted to the chase, not the connection. You're not in love with them. You're addicted to the chemical chaos they create inside you. You see, yes, your mind runs on old code, patterns written long before you ever loved anyone. It learned back then that love was inconsistent. That love arrived with conditions. That warmth could vanish overnight. And so now, adulthood repeats that same emotional rhythm. Closeness followed by withdrawal, pleasure followed by anxiety. That's not romance. That's repetition compulsion. The mind's cruel addiction to what once hurt it most. Time and again, I see people confuse intensity for intimacy. The louder the fight, the tighter the bond feels afterward. The tension itself becomes the proof of love. If it wasn't real, it wouldn't feel this strong. But that's the trap. The brain associates unpredictability with value. When affection is unpredictable, it lights up the same circuits used for gambling and drugs. Variable reward. It's the most powerful behavioral mechanism we've ever discovered. You keep chasing the next high of closeness because maybe this time it'll finally feel safe. Let me break down the first layer of this: validation addiction. You're not chasing them. You're chasing the moment they choose you again. That hit of "I'm wanted," but it never lasts. It fades quickly, and the silence feels unbearable. So your brain panics. It craves another fix, a message, a glance, anything. You reach out. You bend. You beg without realizing it. You become an addict wearing the mask of a lover. There was a guy I knew once, strong, successful, sharp, who stayed with a woman who humiliated him constantly. He said, "She breaks me down, but when she's sweet again, it's like heaven." What he didn't see was that his nervous system had learned to equate relief with love. Her cruelty raised the tension. Her softness brought the dopamine flood. The pain was the setup. The tenderness was the drug. And the addiction was completing the circuit over and over again. But here's where it gets really twisted. The person you're addicted to isn't random. They fit the exact shape of your early emotional pattern, the one carved into your brain by your first exposure to love. If love once meant unpredictability, distance, or criticism, then consistent kindness feels boring. True safety feels alien. You'll find yourself sabotaging peace, ignoring the stable partner, longing for the chaotic one. Because deep in the subconscious, chaos feels like home. You might think this is about them, the manipulative partner, the narcissist, the cold and distant ex. But it's not. It's about your mind's programming. They just play the role your brain recognizes. The moment they mirror your wound, they become irresistible. The moment they stop mirroring it, you lose interest. It happens more often than people realize. The wound chooses the partner, not logic. And when you try to fix them to earn their love by proving you're patient, loyal, or selfless, you're not fixing them. You're reenacting the childhood bargain. If I'm good enough, maybe this time the person I love won't leave. But they always do, or worse, they stay and make you doubt your sanity until you break yourself trying to understand why nothing seems enough. Here's the darkest truth about toxic love. It trains you to distrust peace. When things are calm, you start to scan for danger. Your nervous system doesn't recognize quiet as safety. It reads it as threat. That's why kind love feels off. It's not missing passion. It's missing tension. Stability feels cold after chaos, the same way sobriety feels empty after a high. Your body wants the storm, not the shore. The expectations versus reality gap keeps it alive. You expect love to heal you. It doesn't. It exposes exactly where you're still wounded. You expect communication to fix everything. It doesn't. Words bounce off someone who doesn't want to listen. You expect that enough loyalty will make them stay. It won't, because they're not here for love either. They're here chasing their own addiction. But here's the paradox. Both of you are mirrors. Their coldness triggers your hunger. Your hunger inflates their power. It becomes a loop. They withhold, you chase. They pull back, you overgive. And at some point, you start mistaking your exhaustion for devotion. Now, many people think walking away means indifference. It doesn't. It means you finally see the loop for what it is, a neurological trap disguised as your type. Attraction loses its grip once you recognize the script. And that recognition hurts at first, because it shatters the illusion that this was ever love. It forces you to admit that part of you wanted the pain because it felt like meaning. You see, yes, understanding this pattern isn't about blaming yourself. It's about reclaiming your agency from your programming. You didn't choose the wound, but the adult version of you keeps defending it, keeps chasing it, keeps mistaking familiarity for destiny. The moment you start seeing this mechanism in real time, the moment you catch the brain craving chaos, the grip starts to loosen. The test is simple. Do you feel more alive around someone who confuses you than around someone who understands you? Do you equate craving with caring? Do you find consistency boring? Do you feel an urge to fix their moods so you can feel safe again? Do you confuse their temporary affection with real change? If you said yes to at least two, your mind is playing the same game, the toxic love loop. The next time you feel that pull, don't call it love. Call it what it is. The brain reliving its oldest fantasy of control, believing that if you can finally make them choose you, you'll undo the original wound. But the mind never finds peace by repeating the pattern. It only finds peace by breaking it. I've watched people reclaim their freedom the moment they stop chasing emotional highs and start craving emotional stability. It's a quiet revolution inside the nervous system. The absence of chaos feels uncomfortable at first, empty even, but that emptiness is healing space, the detox from emotional adrenaline. You're not losing passion, you're regaining peace. So, here's the closing truth. It's not your job to earn anyone's peace. It's your job to protect your own. The illusion of fixing someone's love is just the mind's way of avoiding the pain of abandonment. But when you finally stop running that loop, something powerful happens. You stop mistaking the absence of chaos for the absence of love. You stop confusing their silence with your failure. And you start to see that no one can make you feel at home in love until you stop associating love with pain. The mind trap of toxic love is simple. You chase the familiar wound because it feels like home. But home isn't supposed to hurt. Home is supposed to hold you. And until you learn that difference, every love will feel like survival. Her happiness is her responsibility. His peace is his responsibility. And your freedom begins the moment you stop mistaking suffering for depth.